Cool.
Okay.
Hello, Justin.
Hello, Alyssa.
How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Look,
Doing well.
it's a hot summer day, you know?
Very hot. Very
Yeah.
hot in good old St. Louis, Missouri right now.
Yes. Hey guys, camera.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to hope everyone's having a good, everybody who's a student. It's a
Yeah.
first week of school for a lot of people, including us. Hope it's good, whether it is virtual, in person, hybrid,
Yeah.
whatever works.
It's been a weird like 5 months of spring break, don't you think?
Yes, we all went on a spring break that never ended.
It's actually still
Back in
going
March.
on.
Exactly. I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. And also, if you're watching this, welcome to this channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just me and Alyssa were just rolling with it. So welcome. This is the first thing we've ever posted.
Yeah. I think it'll be cool. We're kind of trying something new out. If you guys are wondering, it's definitely different than what we've usually done. We pre-filmed a lot of stuff we did back in the fall of 2019 when we were both in St. Louis. And that's kind of leading to our topic because we were both absent for at least a little while back in the spring of 2020. So that's kind of what we're talking about today.
So yeah, segue. So yeah, we a lot of the footage you guys saw was from last year. So we've not been in front of a camera for a good almost a year now. But the segue is during spring 2020. Wow, it's 2020 already. Alyssa and I studied abroad.
Yes.
And what a time. What a time it was. But I mean, yeah, like I guess we can say like we can start like where we went. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, like the details.
Yeah.
So we both were planning it while we were here. Obviously, you can't just go. There's a lot of work involved.
Right.
We both studied abroad. We both go to Webster University, and they have a study abroad program. That's like one of its main appeals because they have a lot of international campuses, which is really nice. So I always knew I wanted to. I don't know about you, but I always was like, especially with Webster, I was like, it's so easy. Like, I'm going to take advantage of this. I chose to go to Vienna, Austria, because they have a campus there. It's just another Webster University just in Vienna, and I chose Vienna because I loved that it was centrally located in Europe because I knew I wanted to do a lot of traveling. And I just really liked the overall, I don't want to say vibe, because
You
that's
can say vibe.
vibe, I guess.
Vibe check.
Good vibe check of Vienna. Yeah, I just really liked the kind of like, I love that it's a big music city. I like all the history. And yeah, I just kind of chose it for that reason. And I was supposed to be there from early January through mid-May. Obviously, it ended a little bit, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that whole thing because it was a different experience for both of us.
Oh,
But
it was a time.
yeah, that's kind of the basics of everything. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, so I actually ended up not going to Austria, Vienna, don't make fun of me. Vienna, Austria. I ended up picking Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland. As you can tell, if you were listening to this, I have not been on camera for a while, so bear with me. We're also both running on caffeine, and
Absolutely.
it's also very warm in here because there's no AC. But anyway, hopefully I didn't stumble my words there. But yeah, no. So I picked Geneva, Switzerland, and yeah, ever since I was a freshman, I wanted to travel abroad, and I've actually tried every single year.
Really?
Yeah. I think I did it sophomore year. For some reason, I just made an application. I was like, me making the application was like accountability. I was like, well,
Okay.
I'm going to fill this out and I'm going to go do it. Well, clearly that's not going to happen. And it didn't happen. They eventually pulled my application because it just didn't go through.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the old faculty members, I'm not going to name names. It's not a bad thing, but one of the old faculty members, they had a program, like a fall break program, and it visited Vienna. And I was like one of 4 students to sign up, unfortunately, and there wasn't enough people, and that was the sucky part.
Mm-hmm.
So the program didn't go through. So as you can tell, I'm like, well, I still want to travel abroad. So then eventually I was like, I don't even know if it was I was like, but it just found its way on my plate where I could go. And I picked Geneva, and honestly, I just picked it because it was people. There's different reasons people pick different things like prices and classes, but I was just like, I think it was just I just wanted to try it. Like I
It's so pretty.
it's so pretty.
Oh my
like
gosh.
the mountains, and it's like I know some people who study abroad, and if you watch this, maybe you've studied abroad, but most people are like, there's like a whole process they have with picking a place. But I was just like, no, it's gonna be Geneva. So yeah, I picked it, and yeah, it was a time, but it's over now. So I guess I mean like I guess you can explain your first weeks. Like how was
Yeah.
so like had you ever been abroad before? How was like getting a
Interesting.
passport? Like
Yes.
how like what is your international experience besides that or before that?
Limited.
Really? Yeah.
Very little international experience. I have never been out of the country before this year. So this is a whole new thing. Never had a passport before. That process was easy. I don't know about yours. I literally just got my picture at the local Walgreens and submitted it with my other documents at the local library. Came back, no problem, like 2 weeks later. So really, no issues there. In terms of booking the flight, we are fortunate in that when you study abroad through Webster, they do it for you. So that was nice.
First time.
For the first time, they will help you out a lot. Yeah. So that was very nice because it was just out of my hands. They literally just emailed me. They're like, when do you want to leave? I was like, oh, these dates work.
easy.
And they were like,
Right.
and then like the travel agent was like, done. Yeah. Here's your flight information. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So that's basically the plan for that. And then starting out, so the actual flight there, I did St. Louis to Chicago, Chicago to Vienna, which is actually probably one of the best flight routes. I think I've heard, because I don't know what yours was like. We'll get into yours for sure. But like, I know some people who have like St. Louis to Newark to like Germany to their destination. Like there's like a bunch of different layovers, but I was lucky to only have the one. Yeah. So, and then it was just, I think it was I could be wrong, maybe a 12-hour flight from Chicago to Vienna.
Sounds about
And
right.
it
13.
really wasn't, I've never done an international flight. I loved it. I did Austrian Airlines, which is a fantastic airline. I loved the food. Like, I don't know, people hate the food. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I like looked forward to it on the way home.
Actually, yeah. Here's the thing. Airplane food, that's what we're talking about, right? Airplane food?
Yeah,
It's hit or miss.
that's true.
This is what I've learned.
I could see that.
It's either hit or miss. Sometimes it's really good and you're hungry and it's great. Other times it's like, it's just either it's the consistency or the way it's heated up or something that just like you wake up out of like a 7-hour nap and you're like, I want to eat something, but I'd rather starve. Because like some people are like, no, I can't eat this. So, but continue. You were saying like your international experience.
Yeah, it was so yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then I didn't know this either, that like there's several movies that they queue you up with. I watched so many movies, like new movies too, that I'd been wanting to see. I was like, this is perfect. It was actually really nice. And I only slept for a little while. I think I only slept for like 2 hours because I just don't sleep well on planes, but I wasn't like upset about it. It was fine. Landed. The first day was honestly, I don't know what your first day was like, but it was actually like, I'm going to say rough. It wasn't too bad. Like the actual process was fine. We had a driver set up through the university, which was really nice. I know a driver came and picked us up. Pretty nice. Pretty luxurious.
I'm lying. We had that too. My memory just lapsed.
Yeah, we had that. And then it was definitely, I don't know, we got there and my phone, we tried to work out with T-Mobile beforehand, like the details. And then we got there and I had no service the whole time, which kind of stressed me out because I was like, I want to like let people know I made it and stuff. But so that was kind of annoying, but it was fine. We And then right once we got there, they were like, oh, because it was like 9 a.m. there. They were like, oh, here's your kitchen stuff. Like, best of luck moving in. And we lived alone there.
Mm.
And I didn't know anybody going into the program. So, and I didn't have any service on my phone because I was like,
yeah.
oh, I should get some numbers. But I was like, it wouldn't even matter if I had numbers.
Right. I forget. So yeah, I forgot you went there not knowing anybody.
Mm-hmm. I went in blind.
You went in blind. Yeah. So I, our first day was a little different. Our first day, so as you guys have watched the different videos on this channel and Instagram, I went with Ellie and we were studying abroad together actually, and it was a time. I don't know if it's a good time or a bad time. It was just a time that happened in my life. But yeah. So you're talking about like international experience. So growing up, my mom is actually Filipino, and I can't think. She immigrated from the Philippines to the U.S. She lived in L.A. for about 2 years.
Okay.
And then she moved to St. Louis, and I was born. So
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
No, very cool.
So I am biracial, y'all. Anyway, when I was younger, we went to the Philippines like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, cool.
So getting on an international flight was easy and it was fun. But yeah, I didn't know like passports, like you and like Ellie. It was like you guys' first time getting a passport.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know kids can get passport. Well, they need a passport, but I didn't know because I had never handled my own passport. But just recently, when I had to get a passport updated, I had to go get a photo and stuff. But you can't. I don't know. That may be a legal thing, but apparently you can't keep your old passport. You're supposed to send it in because like. I don't know. It's like a legal thing, but
I didn't know that either.
Because I know some people try and keep it like for the stamps, but like apparently that's like a legal document that you just need the most recent copy.
Huh.
Anyway, I've had a passport since I was like 5, so you and no one will ever see it, but there are passports of me as a like a child, and I think those only last for like 5 years, but then when you turn like 18, or if you're at least 18, you get a passport and it's like 10 years. Anyway, I already had a passport, so I had to update it. Ellie and we got our flight path, and it was, I think, from here to Newark, and then Newark to Geneva.
Oh, awesome. Another just U.S. to Europe.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was through American or I think it was United.
Okay.
But so I was excited. Ellie had never been out of the country, but I knew that it was just going. The thing about domestic flights is you get on a flight, there's a layover, but international travel, like as you've experienced, like you got to prepare mentally, because like sometimes if there's no food or you don't know what the next time you're gonna eat,
yes,
you gotta eat, you gotta rest, you gotta sleep, even if that's like on a plane. But anyway, we went from St. Louis to Newark. So flying into Newark, I saw the Statue of Liberty for the first time, and it was about that big. It's like that big, and I'm like, wow, the big city, the Big Apple. I was like, this is great. And Ellie's like she's looking at it too, and I'm like, this is great. And then you had everyone like pulling out their phones, and I'm like, it's this big. Like, why are you doing that? Anyway, I will say the Newark airport, bougie.
Really?
It's really nice, not bougie, but it's I think newly renovated, and they had a giant bazaar. It's like a giant, like it looked like a mix of a bar, restaurants, and like grab and go. And it was like a giant open room, and when you would leave the open room, it was those were the terminal like hallways, and then it was just like a big open space. So yeah, and we got delayed 7 hours.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were sitting at the Newark airport, and actually that's a lie. No, that's not a lie. That happened, but we also got delayed at Lambert, St. Louis.
Oh my gosh.
We were delayed, and because the university gives you the flights, if it's not the same flight, you're kind of worried. You're like, well, is this is this gonna mess anything up? Am I having to pay anything? So our Lambert flight was actually delayed, and we were worried about that. So then we got on that. Then we went to Newark, and we walked around. We had like, actually, I think we were supposed to miss our Newark flight because it was just delayed to a certain, like when we arrived, we would have missed it. I think. I don't know if this is the right one. Ellie, if you know, correct me. But essentially, we got there and they were doing maintenance. And they're like, it's just like a landing gear thing. And then they're like, it's 2 hours. Then it's 3 hours. Then it's 8 o'clock.
That's usually how those go. The delays, they just keep going.
Yeah, and it was like 8 o'clock in Newark, and we're like, well, we're not getting to Geneva anytime soon. And we were both like, I was frustrated. I know Ellie was frustrated. So
did you guys get something to eat at least in that time?
I spent I had these like if I'm so glad he didn't get into my water. This guy, it's a note. It's not gonna say anything, is it? Not a note? Oh my god, he just left. Anyway, he's our mysterious cameraman. No, I'm joking. I just throw it on the ground. There's a trash can behind me. Anyway, so we did eat, and like, I don't know if have you ever had these like rolled like veggie and like ham things you'd see at like an appetizer, like a party or something?
Like little, my mom calls them spirals.
Spirals.
It's like a tortilla with like cold cuts in it. Yeah.
So they had that, and even airport food is kind of iffy, because we didn't have like a McDonald's or something. So I found this. I'm like, this is the only thing that's eatable right now. So I ate one. I think it was like $10. Okay.
Ugh,
and it's like maybe like
worst.
6 of them in there. And I was like, me and Ellie went back to the terminal, and I looked at Ellie. I was like, I want to buy another one. She's like, yeah, go for it. So I walked all the way back, spent another $8 or $10. So I spent like $20 on it. Anyway, we get it on before we leave. They take a big cart from the plane, and it's all the snacks, and they're like, because you guys are waiting. I'm like, okay. Anyway, get on our flight, get to Geneva late, and we didn't have a university driver, but we did have a student that was there to pick us up.
Oh, that's cool.
Shout out to you, student.
Like somebody who went to the university. Okay.
They were I don't know what they called them in Vienna, but they were our RA.
They were kind of like similar to what we would call connection leaders at the St. Louis campus. I don't know if they were actually even called connection leader. I'm blanking on the names. Maybe it was connection leader. It might have been.
Orientation leader.
Orientation, yeah.
Residential or
that's kind of cool though. I feel like I would have liked that because we just had like a airport driver they like commissioned, which was fine. He was very nice, but it would have been nice to like, it's like, oh, it's a student from the university.
Well, because we didn't know who she was, and then she's like, yeah, I'm from the university, here to pick you up. She had like a Webster sign.
Oh,
I was like, because
sweet.
Because we couldn't. Everything's in French.
So it's French there.
Yeah. So
I feel like I heard that before, but so many different languages everywhere there,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Very
It's
different
good.
from the U.S.
Yes. Oh, yeah. But they're it's just like some signage is easy to read, some of it isn't. But yeah.
And you have no experience in French, right? Maybe a little bit.
I had some Duolingo.
Duolingo. Okay.
But we're not sponsored by Duolingo. But did that Duolingo, and I just learned a couple things, but like I was already so stressed just getting there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Um,
And another important thing to point out is that the Websters abroad, the international campuses, they're American universities just in international places. So they are taught in English. Because some people were like, oh my God, like how did you go? Because I went in knowing absolutely no German, like very, very basic. And people were like, how'd you take class? I'm like, no, it's basically just Webster in another place, like,
right.
and like European professors, but
Yeah.
really not that different besides that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can. I want to hear your whole. Cause I didn't realize I was rambling. You weren't. You
No.
weren't rambling. I was rambling. So, I guess tell me about like your first week and like adjusting to a new country. Funny enough, you met fellow connection leaders.
I did.
That I work with.
Yes.
So all mutual friends So I was just like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh, like she found the right. I was like, she found the people, because
Yeah.
I was like,
Good people.
I know you went there alone, so you were probably like scared.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I wasn't until the moment I got there, and then I was like, oh shoot. Yeah, so I left, I think it was January. Shoot, I'm forgetting the exact date. It was maybe the 10th or something like that. And we got there the next day. And then first day was pretty rough because, well, I don't know, it was just overwhelming. We got there. I didn't have, like, I had no way to contact anybody. They, like, kind of just, like, handed us our kitchen stuff. And we're like, okay, bye. And you live in the Vienna campus, you live alone, which I actually ended up really liking. But that day I was like, okay, I don't have a roommate.
I don't know where
I don't know where anybody is.
Right.
I can't contact anybody. So it was just stressful. Eventually, thank God, the Wi-Fi, it took the Wi-Fi a little while to boot up, but once I got that, I could connect to Wi-Fi and then use WhatsApp to call my parents, to call T-Mobile. So it's kind of a process, but eventually I ended up getting service, thank God. But then, like, I had service, and then I didn't know anybody there because I went in knowing no one. So I just kind of was like, all right, napped, moved in, which moving in really wasn't. You don't have that much stuff,
No,
so it doesn't take too long.
Yeah.
So napped, and then I attempted to look for dinner. So luckily, thank God, we had a grocery store like right across, like literally I think like 5 steps from our apartment. It was a Billa. I don't know if anybody has ever been or like lives in the German Europe area, but
German Europe.
German Europe.
What? Not like German Europe, like World War, but like just German Europe.
Europe.
Yeah, that's what you mean. German Europe.
There is a grocery store called Billa, which is, I loved Billa. I miss it so much. But I went there and it was stressful because I was just under the impression everybody was like, oh, Vienna's very bilingual. And so I was under the impression that like everything would be in English, which was probably ignorant. Obviously, it's a German-speaking country. But yeah, so I went and I was just like, okay, like it just stressed out, obviously, because I've only encountered English, like English-speaking everything my entire life. So it was just definitely like, I guess like culture shock or whatever. But yeah, but luckily everything had like pictures and stuff, so I was able to just like pick out a frozen dinner. I was like, that's fine. And then checked out. Checking out was kind of stressful because she started speaking at me in German, obviously. And then I was just like, English. And then she was like, oh yeah. And she was really nice and stuff. Luckily, it was a very nice encounter. But I went back, heated it up, figured that out, and then went to bed. And the next day was so much better. Thank God. Because it was just like, it wasn't even bad. It was just like so many new things.
You felt comfortable, yeah.
But the next day we had orientation, which was very nice. We met all the connection orientation leaders, which were awesome. Yeah. They were literally, the orientation leaders were so sweet at Webster Vienna. And then, it was really cool because they were from different types of places. We haven't had some that were from America, just studying there. We had some that were one of them was from Greece, I think. It was really cool. Yeah, I know. It was very, very neat. And then I met a lot of the friends that I made and still have that day, which was really nice because that's just a good day because you get to like actually talk to people. You're all together, you know? So we did like those typical icebreaker welcome activities, whatever. We learned how to use the public transportation in Vienna, which is fantastic. It's the U-Bahn. That's what it's called. And it is oh my goodness. I've always been a fan of public transportation. It's just so much better for the environment. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of driving, so I really enjoyed that. I was so excited. And I'd use public transportation. I go to Chicago every now and then, and they have pretty good public transportation. But this public transportation, it's like smooth. It's so seamless. A train arrives every 5 minutes. There's never a long commute anywhere. It was so nice. Oh my gosh. That's like the thing I probably miss the most about Vienna. But yeah, I guess first few weeks, I'm rambling a little bit. I'll try to sum it up. But we just, I was lucky to make a good amount of friends in that orientation group. And right away, we all were just kind of on the same page where we wanted to spend a lot of our weekends traveling. So we started booking trips, which if you guys have ever done a program, like a study abroad or like an internship out of town or something, friendships are very accelerated. And it's kind of
Yeah.
nice because it's just like you don't have to do all that like meddling, like,
Meddling and,
oh, you
like-
know, like small talky until you
Yeah.
get to like an actual friendship. It's just like if you click right away, you're like awesome because it's just so short term.
Well, and you either you either click instantly or you don't. But the thing is, I mean, how I do it is like going to having experiences with people. I think that makes friends. Like you can't just go over to someone on the street. I mean, I know you can have a conversation, but when you go through those experiences together, like, okay, you barely know this person, but you're
Exactly.
traveling together, like that's a big deal. And like you either become close or you don't. And like,
And we had a
Yeah.
lot of commonalities already because a lot of these were Webster, St. Louis kids as well. And then like the ones that weren't were like people that go to St. Louis University, which is just like a neighbor campus. So
Yeah.
it was really easy to make friends. Luckily, thank God. I don't know what I would do without them. And we started booking trips right away. And I got the hang of that pretty quick, which was awesome because like I said, I'm not used to that. Like I'd only ever really been like around the U.S. I've barely have even flown places in the U.S. I've only just
driven.
done road trips. So it was really nice. And then school started. So the way Webster does it is we can have terms. So it's almost like quarters or something.
Quarters
If you
from,
did that
like,
in high school.
From like elementary school, quarters
Yeah.
or middle
Where it's
school,
like you have like a quarter of the year. So like mid-March is like quarter 1, quarter 2, whatever. So we have terms. So we have like term 1 and term 2. So what I did was I wanted to be in as few classes as possible.
Oh, God.
Just because I was like, I want to get to know the city while I'm here and like do as many like, I guess extracurriculars or just getting to know this campus while I'm only here for so long. So, and making connections internationally, because like I always have thought about moving out of the U.S. It's someday. So I'm
mean,
like, this is the time to do that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it too.
Oh,
Now
I think everybody's very much considering it now.
we're not saying anything, but we're just saying.
We're hinting,
Right.
which, you know, whatever works. But yeah, so what was I even talking about? We were this is how like short term my brain is.
Adjusting to
Term classes.
Yes, extracurriculars. Term
So
classes.
I did 2 classes per term. So I was in 2 classes for term 1, 2 classes for term 2. So that's 12 credit hours. And I started off I did a film theory course abroad, which is awesome. I'm a film major. So that was great to kind of see, because out of all the Webster universities, the Webster St. Louis one is kind of the most known for its film program. So I wanted to see what it was like other places. So it was really nice to be able to take a class in person there. And it was taught by like a Polish director. He was awesome. I loved him. And we watched a bunch of international films, which is awesome too. Like ones that I would have never heard of that were fantastic. And then I took a intro to linguistics course. I know, very interesting. It was just kind of like a gen ed course, but it was all about linguistics. And that was actually really interesting too, because we learned it's all about the study of language. And I learned this in this class with people who spoke, like me and my study abroad friends were the only people in the class who only spoke 1 language. Everybody spoke at least 3. So they all just had a very interesting perspective coming from it. And we were like, oh, we speak English, like, and that's it. But it was definitely, and the professor was great. The professors there were fantastic. Like they were so sweet and they were so willing to work with us. They were so excited that they had like study abroad. So it was so cute. But yeah, that's kind of how term 1 was going for me. But I am interested to hear, because I don't even think we've said this yet, but Justin was a term 2 study abroad.
Yeah.
So I was planning to be the whole semester. Obviously things changed. Justin was term 2. So what day did you actually leave?
I left. It's the day. It's the week that the whole world changed. No, like legit. It's the week that the whole world changed.
That's why I'm so interested, because we both had very different experiences, and your experience is like just so interesting to me because it was just so fast.
Yeah, and so I left. So Alyssa left January, and myself and Ellie were planning to leave like March something. I don't know the exact. I'm not gonna pull it up, but it's like March. And our orientation was like 2 days after. So we got there, and what was it? So we got there. We got taken to our campus, not to our campus, to our housing unit, and it's on the River de Rhône. Please, French people. do not scorn me in the comments. It's on the Duron River in central Geneva, and the building used to be according to the website on their apartment website, it used to be an old Rolex.
Your housing?
Yes. It
Interesting.
used to be an old Rolex factory. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what the website said.
Very cool.
So the apartments, I have a video of it. Maybe I insert it here. But it's pretty nice. Like, me and Ellie, I think both had scholarships. So it helped out a lot. And the room looked like it was from IKEA. Like, it's like, if you guys see these white shelvings, like that's kind of like what the whole room was. And it was
like modern kind of.
Yeah, it was very modern. And
very cool.
As like, something going to a going to another country and experiencing the housing, I was like, this is comforting.
Awesome. Wow. You love to see it. And so you and Ellie were roommates. Did you guys have any other roommates, or was it just you two?
No, it was just, essentially it was just like one big room, and then there was a bathroom. But keep in mind that we went during spring break of 2020, and
we all know spring break 2020.
Spring break, we'll get there.
Evokes some emotions for everyone.
A lot of emotions. Yeah. And spring break 2020, there wasn't a lot of residents in the residence hall. So we were the only two term 2 kids too. There were other. Really?
Were there other full semester people?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were the only ones coming in at that time. So we get there. We get taken to our place. Here's I think this is fun. I shared this with you like a couple months ago, but when it was a joke back then. I made a Corona playlist, like not a Corona playlist, but I made a playlist of like
everybody was listening to that one. Yeah,
but like there was like a shared Corona playlist, and like anyway, we'll get to that, but
toxic.
Yeah, oh my god, it's so funny. But essentially it was weird, the first song that I heard in the cab was Roxanne. So like it's stuck with me, so like I like that song a lot now, but now when I listen to it, I think of like the cab ride.
Oh no.
To the housing. Now, our housing was under construction still.
Okay.
Had a giant Webster banner on it, and it was kind of like on the side of the river. Geneva's very efficient, probably like Vienna is. It has buildings side to side. There was like a market that was like, again, a minute or two away. It's called Migros. If y'all know what Migros is, shout out to Migros, sponsor, please.
Are they a chain or is it a local one?
I think it's a chain.
Very cool.
Because I think like other places in Europe had Migros. I might be lying out of my teeth, but
it seems to be kind of like the U.S. where because in St. Louis, anybody who's from St. Louis, we have like Deerbergs and Schnucks. And then people, you okay?
Yeah, you did not see that.
Spit a little bit. That's okay.
Lovely.
And then like in Florida, they have like Publix, like it kind of varies from place to place, and like kind of in like I said, German Europe.
Right, German
Europe. That
Europe.
Region is Billa. So I guess in that region is Migros. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Migros.
Okay.
So I don't know how, but you took a nap. Literally, me and Ellie were wide awake. I think we won. I think we did. I don't know if we did. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to tell your story too, Ellie. I just don't remember because it's been months. But
you really didn't take a nap? Did you sleep on the plane?
No, I slept an hour.
Oh no!
And I was like, this is the same thing that happened to me when I went to Italy. It was a 12-hour flight internationally, and I could not sleep. And it's just like, I don't know why. But I couldn't sleep. And when we got to the apartment, I don't think I tried to sleep. I don't know if I did sleep. Here's the thing. I just wanted to get everything settled, right?
I completely get that.
So I think what we did that day, I think we went to the market or something. That day's a blur, but I think we got like train passes. We met our RA that day, and we had we all like met for like an RA meeting on our floor, which was nice. We saw other humans.
Yes, I wish I would have had that because we met people at Webster Vienna, but our housing was just general student housing, not even specifically Webster.
Oh.
So we lived with a lot of just locals in the area. So honestly, anybody could have lived there. It was mainly college students because there's other universities in the area. But yeah, we just kind of met them. Thank God the university was really, or not the university, the apartment was really good about like having activities. Like they would have a lot of, they're really big on beer pong there. There was a lot of beer pong tournaments, which were a lot of fun, honestly. You got to meet people, which it's weird. It's so weird thinking about that because the drinking age is lower there. So that's just more of a casual thing. Like I was like, here we wouldn't have just like a beer pong welcome thing.
Not at all.
No, but like that's a thing there. Like they were just like, oh, we're like all gonna drink like before this. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's also like, we'll go a little off topic. It's also just a cultural thing. Like, just like, and we're not trying to make a statement here, but like, just the way like even drinking and alcohol is handled across the world is so much better than how it is in the U.S. because like even like I'm not going to quote statistics, but I can guesstimate that the U.S. has probably a higher number of like drunk drivers, and even in Europe there's not as much cars because they have, you know, like you said earlier, like efficient public transportation, and you know everything's so close together. So like I feel like, you know, drinking there, like when, you know, people say drinking, you're like, oh, keep in mind, for the record, we're both of age in the U.S., so we're not.
I know, we're of age everywhere now.
Of age
Beautiful.
everywhere. Like, wow. We're like, I can think U.S. is 21, and other countries, some are 16, some are 18.
I think it's 18 in Austria. I could be wrong. Okay. But even then, it's like, it's almost like it's loosely 18. Like, according to the law, loosely. It's 18, but like, I mean, in the U.S., let's be real, it's loosely 21.
Loosely 21. You can interpret that how you want.
Yeah, it's loosely 20. I mean, according to the law, it's 21, but, you know, people are still going to do it.
Right, we're not, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the first day was a blur. We met RAs, and then the next day we got our train passes, and we were going to go.
There's a train there.
There's a train. So there's trams. So kind of like where the area we're at now, there's trains, like there's trams, and then there's like trams to get you around the city. Trams meaning like you just go in, it's like a standing thing. And then there's like a train station that was not too far. So we went to
the pass work for both?
It was the same company, but
okay.
So when you get on a tram, you're supposed to pay like $1.
Okay.
But like, someone pays $1.
It's weird because we had the same thing where we had these passes that worked for everything, because we also had trams, even though people mainly use the U-Bahn. You would kind of use the trams for like shorter term stuff. But what would happen is if you had the pass, you didn't have to scan it or anything. You just had to have it on you. Oh. And then sometimes people would check it. Like randomly there would be guards, and if you didn't have it, you would have to pay like a huge fine. So I always made sure I had it on me. And but the thing is, my whole time there, which I was there about 2 months, I think I got checked like twice. I know people that just didn't have them, or like came for weekend trips and never got them and were completely fine, which I don't know. I'm have way too much anxiety to even think about that. Like I was like, I do not want to get stopped and have to pay this dumb fine. Like I will just pay for the pass. That's fine.
Yeah, I think for a train pass, like the trains in Geneva, there would be people that walk around with like phone scanners, and they would scan your thing.
Okay.
On the train though, but on the trams, like again, like the city was very dense, and you know it's big, but like if you wanted to get to a farther part of the city, you would take the tram, and there's just different stops. It's like a bus. So anyway, but there's cars and stuff there. But so the second day we got a train pass. I spoke French, like for the first time. I didn't want to, but I was like, I need to gain confidence doing this. So, oh my gosh, I wish I had a picture of it. I wish I could describe it to you too.
I guess you were there for a much shorter time, but I grew to love the German greetings and goodbyes. Like you would just be like, because hello in German's just hallo. It's just a little different. And then Wiedersehen. And it was just so cute. It was so much cuter than just bye.
Like the thing in Europe is like, I know people like, you know, in the U.S., like most people, again, I promise you guys, I'm not cynical. I'm a human. It's just been a while since I've been on the camera.
We're all a little cynical these days.
We're all a little cynical. But, you know, people in the U.S., like mostly when you walk by, like smile and whatnot. Like in Europe, you don't. Depending on the country, apparently that's like looked down upon. Like
it's,
you know,
that's huge cultural difference.
Yeah.
Apparently Americans are very loud, which I can totally see, because people just kind of keep to themselves, which it's really not a bad thing. And I actually kind of liked it sometimes, because I was like,
too.
sometimes it's just like nice to just, you're on your way. You don't want to interact with anybody, which I don't know. Maybe we're also in the Midwest, so maybe it's different other places. In the Midwest, it's definitely much more of a like, you always find,
Yeah.
you find like people, especially in like a small town like St. Louis. Well, it's not like small, but smaller. You can usually, especially people like us who've grown up here, you can usually find like mutuals with people. That's just like common. But there, it was just definitely much more like you keep to yourself, which really wasn't bad. It was just different. Like I really didn't mind it at all, but I definitely noticed myself being, I'm just a loud person. I'm a loud person in America. So there I was like, people were like, "What? Why is this girl screaming on the U-Bahn every day?" Which was fine. It was something I just kind of had to notice and like dial back a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of like these subtle cultural differences you notice, and you want to adapt as much as possible because you don't want to be seen as like being ignorant, and you want to be like respectful.
Right. And
But yeah,
it's like you can dial some of it back, but like the weird thing is like no matter what, like even if you're in a different country, like even if you try to adapt like to the culture and stuff, like most people, if you're foreign to their country, they're gonna spot you and they know that you're not
100%.
like even if you dress more casual and like not as like or not casual, more like dressed up, because Europe has a great sense of fashion. The US, we got t-shirts, and they have like graphic t-shirts, and like we have random things on our shirts, right? But like Europeans, no matter what age, I've noticed, I'm like, you guys dress like you actually have style.
It's more common to, because that was something they told us. They were like, just a heads up, girls are probably going to be wearing like heels and dresses to class and stuff. And
like,
I usually try to like, I don't know. In high school, I was definitely much of like a sweats and t-shirt person. And then in college, I kind of tried getting out of that just because in between classes, I'd like go to work and stuff. So I kind of dialed it up to like slightly there. It wasn't too different. But we were told going in, they were like, I know leggings are like a big, or like yoga pants are like a big thing. It's just, that's a very easy way to identify you as an American, because that's just not a thing there. People don't wear like workout pants around.
Unless they're working out, I guess specifically. Like,
yeah, because we wear like workout clothes just for like comfort here.
Casual, yeah.
But they don't really do that there. So people were just like, it's not a bad thing if you do, like do whatever you want. But like, it's just know that you're going to stick out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think I only wear them out in public like twice, which, because honestly, even here, I don't wear them too often. I'm not like as adamant on it as other people, but it still was definitely something I like noticed. And I only brought like a few pairs where I probably would have brought more. So just kind of like a little shift in that, but it was kind of nice. I liked seeing everybody just looked so nice.
Yeah, they look so friendly.
Put together.
They look like they have their lives together. They're all, it seems like they're like, they know like the society and the country they live in, and they just like, they function so well. Like way people walk in the subways, people walk on the trams, the way, like, it's just like they have a heightened sense of like what's around them and who's around them, and it's like, it's just comfortable. Like even if it is foreign to us, like it's comfortable, because I'm like, wow, they like where they are, like you can tell. And it's just,
did you have the escalator thing, the escalator rule?
What? No.
There was an escalator.
Hey,
hi
again.
Minor adjustment.
Intermission.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, we were talking about escalators and
the escalator rule.
Yeah, we won't even describe what happened. So, escalators, yes, escalators. I think there was one escalator at my train station, but most people run up it, so it's not like there are people like just sitting, going down. But anyway, escalators. Speaking of escalators, let's segue up to so.
We haven't even really gotten into the actual exit of our experience.
That's the great exit.
Yeah, the grand exit.
Yes. So, the grand exit is Alyssa was, she can describe her part, but I knew she was in a different country at that time.
Yes.
Ellie and I had just gotten to Switzerland, and
turned right around.
We did shopping, we did IKEA, we did all this, and then Thursday morning, we got a email from our university telling us that we had to come home. And
That's crazy how fast it was for you guys.
it was super fast. And what was funny was that, not funny. What was interesting was that, what was interesting? What was interesting is that our RA, which shout out to you, you were right. And I've told this to you, but like,
Were they saying that you guys are probably going to get sent home?
it's not even, it's just that like, she said as the pandemic as a whole, like everyone was like, oh, it's if we get sick. It's not if if this place gets infected. No, it's when
That's very true.
when a country gets infected, when cases rises, when things close. It's not if. U.S. was thinking if we'll close, but every other country in the world was saying when we close.
Mm-hmm.
Italy was the first one, and every other country was thinking when, and that's why they were so prepared. So because they knew it was coming, so they're like, okay. But she said this one thing. She's like, it's not if you get sent home or if the cases rise, it's when the cases rise.
Yes.
So the cases, keep in mind in Switzerland, they did not rise. They were rising. They were like 500 cases. I'm pretty sure they ended up with like 700. That's a guess. Like now, other than that, cases in the U.S. are skyrocketed, but
we love it.
We love it. So we got that email in the morning. Ellie told me, she's like, hey, we got to go home. Like I was like, what?
Just got here.
Oh, and it was a morning thing. So I like, you wake up, you go on your phone, I answered, I answered a couple like messages and Snapchats, and like, I was excited to wake up and not have jet lag. And like, I got the email and I was like, no. Again, this was cut out, but it was a privilege to study abroad. Me and Alyssa both know, like, people have had it worse during this pandemic and because of the virus.
Oh, this is one of the most privileged situations you could have been in.
And we recognize it, that not everyone can travel abroad. So that's so it's not like we're like gutted and heartbroken and like, we are, but it's like there are more important things that people have lost to this virus. So anyway, we found out we had to go home. So all the food we bought, everything, got to throw it out. Had to throw it all out. We didn't even have plans to go anywhere yet. So God. That day, what was funny is that day we found out, I didn't mention this, that day we found out was our orientation day.
You told me about that when you were there.
And we still had to go.
Which is why?
Well, because they didn't know what was happening either.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
When we went there, they were like, it was here's the thing, campus was beautiful. We took a train. Everyone was, I wish I could say this faster, but or say this with more genuine, elongated words and, genuinely get the feeling. But the people there made me feel welcome. As, I'm a connection leader. I work with, I'm a peer mentor. I work with students and new students at my university. And I am not joking. They made me feel exactly how freshmen, I hope, feel when they come to Webster, St. Louis. Anyway, as soon as we got into the orientation room, like, they looked at us, we got to experience it for the motions, go through the motions, but they knew that the 3 U.S. students in the back had to leave. Mm-hmm. So at one point they asked, hey, do you want to see the campus? I said no.
Well, yeah, you're not going to utilize it.
Yeah, and I was like, it was more just like a personal defeat because I had worked, hard, and again, even education, going to college is a privilege, but I was just like, I don't want to see something that I was never going to experience. Mm-hmm. Anyway, had an emotional thing. It was fine. Used my T-Mobile, called my dad, said all that. We eventually went to fondue that whole night. We crammed a bunch of things in that.
As you should.
That same day and that same day afterwards we did it. We just crammed things, and then we came home. First meal I had was a hamburger because I was like, I deserve it. I want a milkshake. So when we got to the it was Washington, D.C. We have 9 minutes. Washington Dulles Airport. We got there. We actually got delayed again, 7 hours. And I think I messaged you at that point. I was like, yeah, we had delayed again. So we didn't get home till St. Louis till like midnight. I wanted a burger because I was deprived of everything I worked for. But you know what?
Rough 3 days.
I learned a lot. It was okay. But Alyssa, 8 minutes, you go.
Yes, it's mine. Yeah, I'll try to shorten it because it's a whole thing. I was kind of getting into earlier about how we were going to go to Italy for spring break. Me and my friend Lizzie, we planned it out as we were monitoring the situation. Obviously, we knew Italy got hit very hard in the beginning, so we just decided to reroute, which we were lucky to be able to. We found everything very last minute, only a few days before. Spent the first few days in London, which was wonderful. It's very weird looking back because we were doing all the things you shouldn't be doing. We went to a musical theater show. We went to Saw Les Mis. We ate at restaurants. We went to bars. All these things. But obviously we didn't know. Right. Lot of fun though. Really loved London. Want to go back one day. We went to Porto, Portugal after that for, I believe we spent 3 days there. Very beautiful place. Oh my God. It's so relaxing. Like I would love to like retire there or something. Oh my God. It was beautiful.
The name sounds cool.
Oh, it was beautiful. Then was when the situation escalated. Because again, we didn't even think before this we were going to get sent home. We were like, we have full confidence we will be fine. Then we were actually doing a wine tour, a Porto wine tour, because it's from Porto, port wine. Right. So we were doing a tour. We made friends with our tour guide and like the other people on it. It was a lot of fun. We had like some wine in us. We were having a great time. But then we got an email from the school and it was like, classes are online for 2 weeks.
Oh,
and we were like,
different.
oh, that sucks.
Different from me.
Yeah, we were like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, I don't want to do online school. Like, that kind of sucks to start my new classes online. And whatever. But we were like, okay, a bit of a bummer. We'll figure it out when we get back. So then the next day, we just started getting, like, we just heard more about, like, people's, like, flights getting canceled. And, like, our flights for future things were getting canceled. And we were like, okay, this is getting, like, interesting. And then we were supposed to go to Spain. That was our next trip. And Spain was probably next to Italy as, like, one of the worst places in terms of cases. So we were monitoring that. We knew it was bad in Madrid, but we weren't going to Madrid. So we were like, okay, we were going to Barcelona. So we were like, okay, I think we should be fine. We'll just obviously play it safe. Got on the plane from Porto to Barcelona, made it to Barcelona. And right once we got there, we heard rumors of the borders to Spain closing. Oh, so we were like, let's figure something else out right away. We don't want to be in this country that we don't know anything about with the borders closing. So we literally got to our Airbnb like super late at night, like midnight their time. And then Lizzie actually met up with one of her friends. I was just so stressed out. I was like, I'm going to stay here. But she met up with one of her friends because he was studying abroad in Spain. So she met up with him. Then we got emails and we were in contact with our friends, our other friend group that was, I think they were in the UK, maybe Liverpool or someplace like that. They were kind of doing a thing around the UK. And we got an email. I don't even know if it was that email, but we did get an email that was just basically saying like, okay, it's getting worse, be wary, whatever. And then it was like the middle of the night, I think, when we actually got the email. Or it was the middle of the night because with the time difference where Trump made the speech about like, there's a travel ban. And obviously, again, not trying to get too into it, but I will say he wasn't very specific about who the travel ban applied to. Not at all. We all were like, we are stuck. And I was scared because I knew people were like flocking to the airport that had gotten there. We were like, no matter what, we have to go back to Vienna, find a trip to Vienna, and then have to book a flight from Vienna to the U.S. Like, there's no way we are going to make this. No. So we were like, we're stuck. And then eventually it was clarified. And then we were told we had to come home. So we got the first flight out the next day. I think we got back like evening-ish in Vienna the next day. Mm-hmm. And then I booked a flight, which was a whole process. That's like a whole podcast on its own, booking the flight back home for that Tuesday. So I got a good 4 days to say goodbye to Vienna and actually move out and say bye to my friends. And yeah, so that's kind of my good adios story. Very hectic, and lots of anxiety, but I mean, thank God I'm back in the US, so it all worked out.
It's been fun. And I mean, it's weird because like we're comparing the situations, but it's like I didn't know. That's why I was asking her. I would message you. I'm like, do you know what's going on? Like, where are you? What are your borders doing? Because the thing is like you're in different countries. You're under Webster, but you're in different countries. You're in different visas, and it's like you don't know because different countries will make different decisions, and it's like you don't know. And as we know, the theme of this whole year has been like uncertainty. Like
Exactly.
Even if you plan something, you literally do not know if it's going to happen because things change. And this is what, the virus has taught us, at least about the world, and exposed a lot of faulty systems. But yeah, sorry we came back. There was a technical difficulty. Very gutted about it, but it is what it is.
It's all good,
Yeah. So
How much time we got?
guess we got 3 minutes on the dot right now.
Okay, awesome. So I guess obviously we kind of just covered the brink because we could talk for hours about this.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested, feel free to tell us if you want to hear more. We're happy to talk about it more. But I also want to hear how this has affected, if anybody's comfortable or wants to talk about it, affected everybody else. Because I just think it's something we're all going through together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely interesting to hear what other people are going through, what other areas are like. Because even now, how Missouri's handling it is very different than like a place like California is handling it. It's just very different. And it's just kind of interesting to hear what people are doing, what people's day-to-day lives look like and everything, and comparing and stuff. Because again, we're all in this together. We're all going through it, and it's frustrating at times, but hopefully we'll all get through this one day,
Yeah. So, because it's a constant thing and it's affecting all of our lives, and let's not be ignorant to the fact that it has changed everyone's lives. Mm-hmm. But, so yeah, if you watched this far, thanks. It's been probably an hour on the footage, but thanks for watching. Also, small thing. Thank you if you've watched the videos that we've posted on the page, and if you followed the page for years or a year or two. It means the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the views or the comments or the likes. For me, it's making fun videos with people I enjoy making content with, and people can enjoy it, people cannot enjoy it, but we make it, we put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can enjoy it, if you don't want to, it's fine, but
we're glad to be back making content. We're happy to hear anything about future content. We have a lot of ideas in the works, so this is kind of a new thing we're trying, so we'll see how this goes, and we might keep going with it. We'll see.
Anything can happen at this point.
So
we don't want
who knows,
we don't want to make promises, but we're gonna try our best. And again, thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see you in another piece of content. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.